Cheers to adulting.
Hello, I'm Ashley Barajas.
And I'm Abby Rosemarin.
And we have a guest with us.
Nick Sands.
And this is Cheers to Adulting.
To adulting. Fuck.
I almost aspirated my drink there.
Today's episode, I feel like it's been a while since we've done this. Today's episode is brought to you by
College Dropout.
apple juice and vodka.
Hey guys, remember when we used to do themed drinks instead of just being like, fuck all and drink whatever we want?
As well as doing a shot on top of a cocktail.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Yeah. We are not sponsored by Pepperidge Farms, but as always, as we've always said, we are corporate whores, and we would love to be your corporate whore.
Hit us up, Pepperidge Farms, because we remember.
Yeah, but we decided, we're adults, so we classed it up a bit. So
no, we didn't.
Instead of getting just vodka, I got a flavored vodka.
Mm-hmm.
But the bottle was plastic, so...
You win some, you lose some. You gotta balance it out.
It was on sale, so...
Hey.
Whatever.
Saving money, that's the most adulting.
I just forgot that I was a part of this, and I was just watching you guys. So that's bad.
We'll bring you in so you can be a observer as much as you want. You can participate as much as you want. It's up to you.
I do love participation.
Awesome. So, adulting of the week. You're the guest, so we're gonna have you tell us what is some adulting or non-adulting that you've done this week. And remember, this is a no shame, no judgment zone. So if you want to talk about how ways that you didn't adult, we're okay with that.
All right.
Or if you want to give yourself a trophy for something as simple as, I wiped my son's ass. I deserve brownie points.
Was that a pun?
It wasn't, but it was amazing.
Brownie points. 15 minutes ago, I had made a delicious steak dinner.
Oh.
And I made sweet potatoes on the side, very savory, very American, very wholesome. And then, for some reason, I really wanted an Asian salad, so I bought that thinking it would go with it.
Sure, why not?
YOLO.
Asian
And
fusion?
Not at all. Not even remotely. It was probably the biggest culinary fail I've had in a while, which is saying something because I have a lot of them.
Hey.
So you went wrong on the Asian fusion.
I did. I tried to bring it together, and it was a bad move.
I feel like that's not really an adulting fail. So you
tried something
clear.
new. You
This is a
made
normal
dinner.
fail. You're just an idiot.
That's just no. That's more like any mistake. Anyone can do that.
Adulting? Oh, I detailed my car earlier this
That's
week.
fucking adulty as shit.
That's adulty as fuck.
That is
My
adulty
car
as
needs adulting. Yeah. Well, it does.
Detailing and
It
adulting.
needs detailing like whoa. It also needs still to have an oil change, but neither here nor there. I keep driving, 75 miles a day. It's whatever.
It's gonna be cool, right? The engine can totally handle not having new oil.
Totally.
That never ends catastrophically.
Yeah, never.
That's just big oil trying to sell you oil changes.
Exactly.
I mean, if one of our previous episodes, we talked about how they are definitely trying to get you to get an oil change more often than you really need to.
Right?
That's 100% true. As an industry professional, I can tell you that's very true.
Yes.
You need to change your oil like once every 6 to 10.
6 to 10. What?
10,000.
You only need to change your oil about every 6 to 10,000 miles.
I'm
Not the
over
3,000.
that of when I should have changed it, so. Shh, don't tell my car. Let's see. So for my adulting, my adulting is hustling and not letting myself have opportunities for fun. So this weekend, let's see, on Saturday, I did get to sleep in a little bit. By sleep in, I mean like I set the alarm for later than 7:30. And then I cleaned one of my clients' I guess you could say, Oliver's. I cleaned a house on Saturday, and then after that, I babysat. Now, however, I babysat for this one family that, I mean, I would probably definitely do the same as them if I was getting a babysitter. I stopped asking what time they're going to get home because I realized anytime I ask them, they'll give me a time. They almost always stay way later than that, which is fine because I get paid.
Yeah.
I get paid more the later they stay out. So at that point, I'm just like, stay out as late as you want.
Because the baby's already asleep. Like,
Yeah,
you're getting
she's
paid to watch
asleep.
TV
Yeah.
and be on your phone.
Like, the most inconvenient part is, like, I'm sleepy, and I almost always, like, plan to have some place to crash, like, close by. But they didn't so I got there at, like, 6:20. They didn't come back till 12:30 that night.
Damn.
I mean, the baby was asleep. There's an adult there, so, like, why not? They
Also get money.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll ever listen to this, but I did make a comment to my boyfriend recently. I was like, what if they're, like, going to sex parties? Like,
I mean,
how
fucking
fucking
YOLO.
awesome would that be?
YOLO, bitch.
Yeah, YOLO. So, I didn't get to bed until after 1, and then I had to teach a advanced climbing class in the morning, and then I had a little break, and then I had to work at the gym in the same place until, like, after 9. So I'm tired. I've been working for 3 weeks straight. This Friday will be my first day off. Very excited.
Ooh.
Except I have to wake up early because a graduation starts at 9 in Boston. It's a whole thing. So that's my adulting.
I'm just saying, the ultimate love language, you know how they talk about, like, touch, words of affection, blah, blah, blah. No, attending somebody's graduation, that is the ultimate fucking love language. I am sorry.
As a brother.
Yeah, familial love, platonic, any type of love, the ultimate sign of love language is, I will attend your graduation.
I feel like I have to at this point. I've been to his high school graduation.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to his, when he got his bachelor's graduation. So I gotta, he's doing his grad school, so I might as well.
Yeah, I mean, go the entire way. And if
Yeah.
he gets his doctorate, fucking, I will be there.
I-
Well,
No,
you will be there. I
You
won't.
can actually skip the doctorate.
Yeah, skip that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? It's just at this point.
Now he's just showing off.
Right? Show off.
You're just being a show off, now you dick.
So I have a hard time with this one because my adulting is either a complete adulting fail or a adulting win with a lesson involved. Well, because for those who have actually been listening to this show, like, pretty routinely, first and foremost, I love you, thank you, all, like, 2 of you. But
83 listeners currently.
Okay, we do have 83 listeners.
We teeter between 83 and 120.
All right, so I love between 83 and 120 of you.
Only that.
I hoe it up real big. But some of you guys already know that I had been training for a pretty intense relay race for last weekend. And it had been a training that had been marked by constantly getting sick, and then I would have to start from scratch. But I got to a really good place. I was running 8 miles. I was like, oh yeah, I'm ready. And then Thursday hits, and I start getting the rumblings of a cold. And I'm like, all right. The rumblings of a cold. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to take it the fuck easy.
I'm going to take it the fuck easy.
The fuck easy. Y'all heard
Fuck
me.
easy street.
Exactly. Y'all fucking heard me. Like, because in 24 hours, I'm getting picked up by my relay captain. We're going to be doing 36 hours of, this team running.
Hard pass.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm going to take
You're
it
the
easy.
captain? What the fuck?
I am
This
a
is way
crazy.
more legit than you made it seem online.
Well,
Sorry,
there-
I already know this story, but
Well, there's 12 of us, and there were 2 captains, and those were the people who were driving the vans, and they were going to
did
be
you
the.
vote them in?
No, it's seniority. Like the
Was
guys,
it just like, oh, Captain, my Captain?
It basically was, and I stood on the table and everything. I mean, he's been doing it for like 10 years, so he gets to be the fucking captain. Like, you win. You got tenure.
Is he like the
Is
captain
it like a
and
Klingon thing where, like, if you beat him in a race, you take captain?
I don't think I would want to take captain, to be perfectly honest.
or like
I'll let
How I
other
Met Your
people-
Mother? How I Met Your Mother, where he insist to go by the captain?
You know what? Don't give this man ideas. I think I'm going to make sure he doesn't hear this particular podcast, because then he's going to be asking to be called the captain.
Don't take away more listeners, Abby.
All right. Vinny, if you're listening to this, keep listening to this. I love you. Anyway.
Tell your friends.
Tell your
Vinny, you're a
friends.
great captain.
Tell your friends. Yeah, and you're a great
Captain Vinny.
Captain Vinny.
Captain
Also, I
Vinny.
am so sorry we're talking to you about you like this. Anyways, getting back to the story. So I'm trying to take it easy, but then at 1:30 in the fucking morning on Friday, I get the most unbearable fever ever. Like, I am legit sobbing that the fever is that bad. Like, and you know, like, fever sobs is a real thing. This is what as I was talking to people about that night, like, you can get fevers that are so bad that you just start crying over it. And that's what was happening to me. And my husband Isaac, who was just amazing about it, like, he woke up, he was rubbing my back, he's like, you're not going to the race. Like, you're staying home. Meanwhile, I'm like, no, I can rally. I just need some Dayquil and a hot shower. I'm gonna be fine. And, you know, my husband basically was like, no, executive order here, like, you're staying home, we're gonna run, we'll be fine. So my husband was also on this relay team. So he went off, he did the runs. They had to do my running legs. They had to take my running legs. Like literally, they had to love them off.
You must feel so shitty.
Oh, I felt wonderful.
Really let down Vinny.
I let the whole team down because they had to run extra. And Vinny was actually one of the people who had to run an extra leg because of me. He had to run an additional 7 miles because I was sick. So I felt like,
You're off the team.
yep, I'm done. I'm out. So I felt like absolute shit as a result. So in some ways, that was my adulting fail. Like, I spent the entire weekend just in bed, just sick as a dog.
How's that an adulting fail?
Well, see, that's where it's turning around.
Oh,
it might be an
okay.
adulting win
Yes.
with a lesson, because I had to drop out of something I wanted to do because I was sick. Like, what good was it going to do for me to get into that van, get everyone else sick,
Yup.
and then not be able to run? Like, I was so sick that the very idea of going downstairs to make tea was exhausting. How was I supposed to run 7 miles and then another 5 miles and then another 7 miles? It wasn't going to fucking happen. But my teammates were amazing. They did my running legs for me. Like, they
You keep saying running legs,
know.
and it's just like they took my legs.
Exactly. Like, they
You sound
lobbed
like
them
a-
off at the hips. And
Yeah.
they're like, you don't fucking need these, bitch. I'll take them for you.
Lieutenant Dan, you got new legs, Lieutenant Dan.
Exactly. Captain Vinny, you got new legs. Again, I am so sorry.
Ice cream, Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant, outright captain?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
But the lesson there was, you know, sometimes you have to just
Let
take care of
people
yourself.
take your legs.
Exactly. You know what? That's it. That was my only lesson.
Vinny's got to take your legs.
Yeah.
That was the only lesson I got. Sometimes Vinny has to take your legs. That's it.
I'm going to take
the
your
only
legs.
one, but an important one.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that was my adulting. And what a lovely shit show of a weekend it was.
Hopefully it wasn't like a literal shit show.
Thankfully, no. It really was just fevers, aches, complete and total exhaustion, wipeout. I was a little worried that I had pneumonia, just the way that I was coughing. It felt like I just had liquid in my lungs that I couldn't cough up. And we, as you guys know, we've had a pneumonia scare in this podcast household. Thankfully, though,
Christopher is doing better. He's been released out of the hospital. Yeah, so he's on the road to recovery, and hopefully he'll be able to start work like on Friday.
That is wonderful. Keep
Which
kicking
is,
ass,
it's
buddy.
a Tuesday, so.
There we go.
Yeah.
So I was a little worried there. I was a little worried that I had pneumonia, but no, doing good.
And speaking of people still being sick, I just recently found out that good friend Avi, he is in the hospital now, and he's sick, and you know what? Quit that.
Right?
Stop
People
it.
stop getting sick.
Stop it. Get better. I don't want to deal with this shit. I need everyone to be okay and better. Everyone stop being sick.
Yes.
I'm sick of it.
Now, heal the world.
Heal the world. Right.
Perhaps it's time to get on to topic.
Yes. On to topic. So this episode, we're going to be discussing
Alternatives.
alternatives to college.
Exactly.
'Cause-
Not that college is a bad thing per se, but it really isn't for everybody.
It's not for everybody, and that's okay.
Right?
Point being, me and Abby are both college graduates. We both have our bachelors, and we're both not using them.
Exactly. Very expensive bachelor's degrees, should I add, and neither of us are using them.
Nope, not using them.
Like, should we kick it off with that about our bachelor's journeys?
Sure.
Let's start with that. So for I guess I'll start off. I have my degree in English and sociology, and immediately after graduating, I realized I wanted to be a preschool teacher. And really, the only way I could qualify as a preschool teacher is if I had certain early education credits under my belt. So I went back to school. I went to community college and was taking night school as I was working at a daycare. And I remember getting so frustrated that I was like, I just spent 5 fucking years at a private institution. I have an absurd amount of student loan debt. And right now, this $125 night course at Bunker Hill Community College is doing more for my goddamn career than that bachelor's degree. Then I left the early education world basically right after I got all the education credits needed to properly qualify as a certified teacher. That's when I left. And I became a yoga instructor, which really is just the wild, wild west. There's no requirements whatsoever.
Oh.
And so, yeah, so the yoga is the wild, wild west. Well, I've heard it called that like by so many people. And it's because there's really no regulating body. There are some there are certain organizations that are kind of considered the gold standard. Like you want to get your training through those particular ones. Same with my personal training certification. It's the wild, wild west. There's no regulating body. There's no licensure program. But there are certain organizations that it's a little more reputable to get it through them versus this random schmuck online. And again, I kept thinking to myself, a couple $100 here, $1,000 there. These trainings are doing more for my career than that like 6-figure bachelor degree that I am not fucking using.
Oy vey.
Right?
Well, I think I actually would like to talk about that for a second.
Sure.
I was also, as Abby knows, a personal trainer for a number of years, and I was actually. So the certification I got was like kind of like low tier because I was POUT. So you could do what you can with what you got, you know. And I had spent a lot of time exercising, a lot of time training, a lot of time working with people who really knew what they were doing. And it ended up where I was actually having people who were taking college courses on exercise science come in and learn how to squat properly from me, or learn how to deadlift properly for me, because the teachers in the school, they need to fill 2 years. You know what I mean? They don't. A lot of it is just way far behind, I think, what the people who are actually on the front lines of training are doing.
Fun fact, I learned how to properly deadlift and squat from a pregnant woman. It was amazing.
That's classic.
She was like pregnant.
But I think one of the issues with college, especially in things like exercise science, is that they are already behind before you even get started. And I think a lot of people in the early, or like the Bill Gates, Steve Jobs era, they were having the same issue with computers. They were already on the front lines. They were already out ahead of what college was even able to teach them. Mm-hmm. I think you find that in a lot of fields, not so much like the English or, you know, I definitely want my doctor to go to college and not learn about it.
Yeah.
You know, I watched this YouTube video.
Or your lawyer.
Or my lawyer. Well, I don't know. I know some guys who have gotten themselves out of prison by being their own lawyers. So maybe
like
if
murderers.
they're gonna have free time, maybe I'll take a YouTube lawyer.
Yeah, YouTube lawyer.
But I just wanted to say that I think that that's interesting that Abby had the same experience where she was going to college. She went to college and she found that she was actually getting more out of, like, you know, quote unquote lesser classes.
Because it really is like you go to college and you think, oh, I'm getting my bachelor's. I'm obviously getting like the best education I could possibly get, and so on and so forth. But sometimes, really, the best education you're going to get is that night course at a community college, or that online course that you paid $100 for, or even sometimes that YouTube video that you Google searched for. It really becomes like, what is the content, not what is the label that's slapped on it. But yeah,
Cool.
that's hashtag cool, everybody.
Hashtag cool.
But let's hear about your lovely.
Great. So I feel like I'm still on my career journey. So in high school, I attended a fine arts school where you audition into for a specific major, and you were taking like 3 classes all of high school studying. So I studied musical theater, and the majority of my graduating class went to a college that would let them continue their education, whether they wanted to focus on just acting or they wanted to focus on musical theater or singing and what have you. But I thought that we had a really great we got really good training. We had amazing teachers, and I like to learn as much as I can about everything. And I really wanted to go to college, but I didn't necessarily want to go to a fine arts college. Yeah, because fine arts colleges are really, really expensive to like study musical theater or acting. And I think I also was feeling maybe I wasn't good enough to go. And so I fell back on like, oh, well, I like academic stuff, and I decided that I really wanted to study anthropology. I love people, and I specifically cultural anthropology. That's what I got my bachelor's in. And it was a whole process and a half because I moved from Texas to Massachusetts, and I couldn't afford to go the first semester. And so I had to wait to go the second semester. And, I had to take a semester off again, eventually like a few semesters in, because I didn't have enough money, or I thought I had finished and I didn't. It was just like it was a long process because I was working full time and going to school full time. And yeah, so I got my bachelor's, and then it was cultural anthropology. It's like getting a degree in psychology
Or a degree
not
in
psychology.
English and sociology.
Psychology. I meant in what's the word I was thinking of?
Philosophy.
Philosophy. That's what I was looking for.
I knew I was here for a reason.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of people that get their degree in anthropology and stuff might go into getting their, going to grad school and studying sociology and stuff, and going into HR and what have you and what have you. And I just didn't know. All I knew is I had no specific plan for what I wanted to do with my degree. All I knew is that I did want to get a college degree because I like school, because I am, a fucking masochist. But I didn't think about the fact that I would not be doing anything with that degree. So I worked some corporate jobs, bored out of my mind. Then I finally decided, and the whole time I was doing childcare jobs here and there, that I wanted to become a nanny. And I didn't have child education things for like working in daycares, but I realized I would make more money working as a nanny than I would in like a daycare or whatever. And that was I'd be more passionate about that because I really wanted to have that one-on-one time. And I did as much self-educating as I can. Anyway, obviously didn't use my bachelor's degree for being a nanny. Mm-hmm. And now I am currently a housekeeper for a billionaire couple. Definitely not using I like to make comments and jokes all the time whenever I'm at work, as a housekeeper, whether I'm making lunch for the master of the house or the missus of the house, or cataloging his entire library, or ironing underwear or ironing bed sheets to be, say to one of my coworkers, really putting that bachelor's degree to good use.
Oh.
But the funny thing is that when I made the move from Massachusetts to New Hampshire and I was looking for another nanny job and realizing that they don't pay appropriately in New Hampshire for nannies, and so I started to look for a corporate job again, which I had left the corporate world because it boring me out of my mind and making me very depressed because that's not my personality. And then I found my current job. I'm making more with benefits and what have you at my current job as a housekeeper than I would as instead of being an executive assistant at some, corporate job in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with my life choices right now. I mean, my job is a bit of a, takes a lot of,
sweet, I'm not gonna lie.
it's not. I mean,
No?
Good benefits. There are some ups and downs. Some of the bad days, definitely, there's a turnaround in the household. Let's just say that. Yeah.
How did you find the job?
Indeed.com.
Indeed.
Yeah. Indeed. Yeah,
Shout out, sponsorship.
yeah. I was looking for another corporate job and I saw that and I was like, well, since my early, mid-20s, I've been cleaning houses on the side, under the table, and or not under the table, IRS.
All right.
Good save.
Yeah.
If the IRS is watching this.
Yeah.
They're one of our 83.
Watching or listening. Yeah.
If that's the case, I still love you.
Yeah. Just, cleaning is whatever. Cleaning houses legitimately and recording.
Every cent is recorded and taxed.
Yeah. But yeah. So I found it online on Indeed. And, which I do get paid legitimately. But yeah.
Look, you don't have to try and convince me.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I really I still do. I mean, case in point, this, to be a performer in some way, which maybe I didn't need to necessarily go to a college for it, which I technically did not.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But as I see it, we went into college straight out of high school. We were part of the generation that was told, you need to go into college straight out of high school. You're going to become a degenerate if you don't go into college straight out of high school. And that's kind of what we did. And, we did the best we could with the advice we were given.
And I think for me, it was really just to it was a point of making my family proud because my mother didn't graduate from college. My father got his associates. He didn't get a bachelor's. My grandmother didn't get a degree in college. Neither of my older brothers went to college.
Yeah.
So it was a point of pride for my parents to say that, although my father passed away before I graduated college, but just say that I went to college and stuff.
And I can respect that. That was kind of the same with me where I was the first in my family, generations and generations. I was the very first one. And mind you, I am the second youngest of 8 kids, the first one to get there. Yeah, I am the second youngest of 8, but it's over. But it's over the span of 2 marriages, I should mention. My dad had 6 kids in his first marriage and 2 kids in his third marriage.
I'm the same. My father had 6 kids before he married my mother. And my mom had 2 boys before she married my dad, and they had me together.
Yeah, so our family trees are kind of like constellations, really. It's really fun and really complicated.
I don't know why that never clicked, that it was almost the same for us.
For me, I always noticed that. I was like, oh, look at that. We have half siblings that are old enough to be our parents.
Yeah,
Yay.
Yeah.
Legitimate.
Legitimate. New word, change of proof.
Still didn't say it right.
Yeah, shut up. Fuck you. My oldest sibling from my father is older than my mother.
Yeah. And my mom and
Go your dad.
Huh?
Your dad seems like a cool dude.
He was definitely a cool dude.
Hey, you knew how to get down, man.
And I definitely, oh no, I won't, never mind.
Yeah. But going back, I was the first person to get their bachelor's degree like the traditional way. Nobody else.
Traditional, as opposed to the way of like whoring yourself out for one.
Well, no, because both my mom and my dad eventually got their bachelor's through night school, just kind of piecemealing their classes together.
Yes.
None of my older siblings went to college. I was the first one to go to college. I was the first one to just do the 4-year thing and graduate and what have you. And for me, that was a source of pride. I mean, it was a very expensive source of pride, and I'm not really doing anything with that source of pride. But when you come from a line of family where like almost nobody in your family is college educated, and you get to go off to college, you almost have to blindly dive into that, even if you look at it afterwards and go, well, that was not the most sound investment in the world.
Mm-hmm. And 2 of my coworkers they're LNAs, but they're called helpers at work. I know for a fact that they make more than me, and neither of them have college degrees.
Wow.
They should get paid more that they already get paid. And I know that they get paid well for New Hampshire. But trust me, they should get more.
Honestly, LNAs in general, like the shit they do, literally the shit they do.
The emotional turmoil that they have to endure.
Yeah, like they should be getting paid better.
Yeah, for sure.
Should we dive into interviewing our guests?
Yeah, we're going to have some questions for you.
Excellent.
All right.
I love questions.
Excellent.
The
Perfect.
anticipation is killing me.
Okay. So first, tell us a little bit about your job and what you do.
So I work on trucks, big trucks. I
Big
do
trucks.
auto body and paint.
Nice.
So like I do mostly like dump trucks, construction equipment, boom trucks, like electrical trucks. I do a lot of box trucks, sleeper trucks, any kind of truck. That's my jam.
Dope.
I got you. And I do accident repair and paint and body work and fabrication. Pretty much anything that needs to be done, I can do on a truck.
Trucks are your thing.
Trucks are my thing.
Got it. So, when did you decide that you weren't going to college?
I hated school from as far back as I can remember. I was the kid who told his mom he was sick every single day.
And I was the opposite. My parents knew that if I said I was sick and didn't want to school, that I was actually sick because I loved school.
I hated school. I couldn't stand. It just wasn't a good place for me. I even now I have a hard time sitting down for long periods of time, focusing. I don't like people telling me what to do. It just is not. It wasn't a good environment for me. It never was. Like I said, as far back as I can remember. I dreaded going to school. I hated school more than anything. And then I can remember we were getting ready to come up to college age, because I had decided I was in like 1st or 2nd grade. We had done like what do you want to be when you get older? And I always said I wanted to work with my dad.
Aww.
So eventually, as time went on, I had always stuck to that. I always wanted to go to work with my dad and work on trucks.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember in school, my guidance counselor calling me down. And in school, I was always in and out of the guidance counselor's office anyways. But my guidance counselor, I did get in trouble in 3rd grade when I told them I wanted to be the Dread Pirate Roberts when I grew up.
How dare they crush a child's dream?
Right? I thought they said we could be anything.
Yeah.
I want to be the Dread Pirate Roberts,
That was a meeting with my parents. But it was around, like, high school. They called me down. They said, what colleges are you thinking about applying to? I said, I'm not planning on going to college. And they told me, well, that's fine because Burger King needs employees too.
Oh! Jeez.
Yeah.
So I have a fun, not to like cut you off or anything. So although this whole episode is about like not going to college is okay, my one of my best friends in high school, her father, so they're like Maldonado is the last name and Hispanic, whatever. So when he was significantly older, not as old as my father, but when he was in high school, he was like Hispanic, type of American, and in the in the guidance counselor's office, you know, they were talking about college plans, what have you, and they were saying that he should go to trade school, and you know, it would probably be better for him. And he's like, I'm going to be a doctor, and they're like, you should probably like not, because that's not really like a viable option for you. So I think he almost got his doctorate. He was like close enough. I don't know if he'd finished his dissertation or whatever. But at a high school reunion, he found whoever that was. And they're like, oh, hi, Mr. Maldonado. And he was like, that's actually Dr. Maldonado to you.
Sniz out.
Fuck you.
Sniz fucking out.
Oh. So
That's
Burger
fantastic.
King.
I'm sorry, what?
Back to you. Sorry, Burger King.
Oh yeah, they had just told that, you know, I think there's just a lot of pressure put on kids from a very young age that school is your only option. School's the only way that you're going to get out. You know, college is the only way to be successful. It's the only thing you can do that will propel you forward towards success. And I think actually tech schools are a continuation of that. I think that now you can go to tech school, but at least in my experience, people from tech schools probably should have just gone to work. A lot of people I know, you know, you go to tech schools, then you go in the union, you start if I don't go to tech school and you do go to tech school, we both join the union, we both start at the same spot. And we both learn at the same pace.
Yeah.
At least that's how I think it works. I guess I'm kind of talking out of turn here, but at least in body shops, that's how it works. I've never been part of a union, so I shouldn't say that, but in body shops, you know, I've had kids come out of school who just paid, you know, whatever, $10,000, $20,000 to go to tech school for 2 years, get in a shop and they can't do anything. You know, so I think tech schools are really more of a continuation of that, where I think kids would actually be better going into the workforce instead of pushing it off.
So
At least, sorry.
Sorry, no, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, at least until they have an idea of what they want to do.
Yeah. So how did your parents feel about you deciding not to go to college?
Me and my parents fought about school every day for as long as I can remember. Because I hated school. So,
Okay. Well, school, but what about college?
They were not happy.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of played it off like, oh, I'm just going to take a little time. And then a little time turned into more time and more time and more time. And then eventually it was like, okay, so he's just not going to college.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, you guys think I'm never going to go to college? Weird.
So I mean, you did talk about being a fitness instructor or a personal trainer. What other jobs have you had throughout your careers?
So Bodywork's I've been working at the shop now since I was 18. And how old am I now? 31. So like, how many years is that? A lot.
Our
Should've
years?
gone to college.
Yeah.
13, right? 12.
Yeah, about 13.
Sure.
Sure, we'll go with that. I am shit at math. There's a reason why I went to school for English and not fucking mathematics.
Anthropology.
I mean, right?
I spent my days inhaling paint fumes, so
Yeah.
definitely
So I mean, we're a fun math crew.
Right.
But I've been at the shop pretty much 13 years straight. I took a couple of small hiatuses. Even when I was training, I was still working at the shop.
Oh, okay.
And I should say it's now a family business. It wasn't when I started there. We ended up buying it.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Interesting.
But I worked at the shop for, like I said, like 13 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I did landscaping for a little bit, and I did personal training, but that was pretty much it. If you ever want to take something that you love and make it so that you hate it, then turn it into your job. Because personal training was the worst experience of my life.
So I'm guessing that was kind of a question I had about what motivated you to, like, you know, pick your current career and change from that to your current work.
Well, I've always loved trucks. I love building things. I like working on things. I like moving around all day.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Same.
it's little things like that. You know, like Do I love the day-to-day, the in and out, like the monotonous standing dump trucks? No. Do I love the way that dump truck I sanded looks after I get done painting it? Hell yeah. You know? It looks badass, and I'm proud of it. So I think it's the little things more so than the big things that matter. I think I'm a firm believer that you can grow to love your job as opposed to finding something you love and making it your job. I think you should try to find a job and just learn to love it. Because I think, at least in most jobs, maybe not like corporate soul-sucking, crushing jobs, but I think in most jobs you can find things that you love to do within that job. And if you find those things, you can become good at them, and then you don't have to hate your life.
Do you regret not going to college?
Not
well,
at
from
all.
now talking to you, I feel like definitely not. Okay. I
got to enjoy all the parties without having to go to any of the hard stuff. So
There we go.
You know, I went to college, but I didn't get a college experience because I was working full time. At the time, University of Massachusetts, Boston did not have dorms. And, you know, I was working at Blockbuster where I got out at midnight and we didn't have like the only times I got to go to like college dorm parties was before when I was going to community college and working, and before I transferred to a university. I would go to like frat parties at Trinity College in San Antonio because I was working at a Blockbuster down the street from Trinity, and some Trinity guys came and I like hit it off with them because I'm like, you know, I'm a bro, what it is. And they're like, yo, you should, and they knew I wasn't single. They're like, you want to come like hang out at a party? I'm like, hell yeah, I want to come hang out with you frat dudes and drink your free alcohol. Yeah.
I got the movie rentals on hookup.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I don't know how I went on that tangent, but
It was
It was
great,
just-
though. Whatever,
yeah.
whatever brought us here, I
sure.
really appreciate it.
Okay, so you have a child.
I do.
So when he comes to high school age and thinking about college, how are you going to approach college with him? Are you going to tell him he doesn't have to, or are you going to encourage him to, or support whether he wants to not, or whatever?
I think a lot of it's going to depend on where colleges are at by the time we get there. I have a feeling there's going to be, the internet has completely changed the game as far as education is concerned. You can learn literally anything. I rebuilt an engine using the internet, there's nothing that you can't do using that.
Yeah.
So I guess it'll depend on where we're at as far as education is concerned, and the education system as a whole is going. But
He's
I'm
got like
open
16 years to figure it out, so.
Yeah.
Or
seriously.
so. 14.
But
who knows?
if he wants to go to college, then I would expect him to at least have an idea of what he wanted to be. But if he doesn't want to go to college, then I'm going to tell him that's fine, but that means you got to get to work.
Yeah.
I don't think that the goal should be to skip college and then
Stay in your your basement.
Exactly. I think the goal should be to go and get your own education if that's the route you want to take.
Cool. So how did you go about training for your job?
Just on the job.
Okay, so you didn't really spend any money on training and...
Nope, they paid me.
Nice.
As it should
Nice.
be, honestly.
Yeah. And lastly, so what advice would you give to people who are on the fence between college, trade schools, or any sort of continuing education?
I would say look at the career that you want to go into, and then ask yourself, do I need a college education for this? Is it gonna help me in any way? Is it gonna help push me ahead? Because ultimately, we're saddling kids with debt, the equivalent of a house mortgage, of a mortgage.
Yeah.
For the rest of their lives. There's senior citizens who haven't paid off their student loan debt. So I would just say, if college is your thing, if you wanted to be a doctor since you were a little kid, then hell yeah, you're gonna need to go to college. If you wanted to be a lawyer, like you said.
Yep.
Right?
if you want to be, a scientist or whatever other college jobs, those are the 3 jobs I know of that you need to go to college for. If it's not that, then why bother?
Truth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think we're really on the cusp of an evolution when it comes to college, because again, the internet is changing things. We can learn literally anything online. The younger generations are seeing what happened to millennials, how we're getting addled with student loan debt and we're getting crippled by it. And they're realizing, if I'm going to go to school, it's going to be for an extremely specific reason. I'm going to have almost an investment plan in place. I'm not going to go to school and do fuck all and hope for the best, because honestly, like, as much as I love my my English degree, so much of it could have been done in the present day through things like YouTube, through things like various message boards and what have you. And I think we're going to really see a change, especially as the newer generations are getting older and graduating and starting to do different, explore different things. One of the things they've been talking about, you see this all the time on the news, is that trade jobs are looking for people. Too many people went to college, not enough people went into, whether it was a apprenticeship or trade schools or what have you, and now they're kind of scrambling. And I think the younger generations are seeing this, and they're going to start looking at colleges a lot differently. They're going to look at that school, they're going to look at BU that's like $60,000 a year and go, no, that's stupid, that doesn't make sense, I'm going to pick other routes. And I think a good tie-in is just mentioning a few of the jobs that don't necessarily require degrees, or if they do, it's more on the associate side. One of those being, say, massage therapists. Depending on what state you're in, it might be a 2-year associate's degree.
Oh my God.
Yeah?
So I know, tangent, whatever.
Hey, that's what this podcast is for.
I got a Groupon for massage. I've had plenty good massages from Groupon, okay? I had the worst fucking massage of my goddamn life.
Because it's a fucking massage.
Yeah.
Those
But
are the worst.
it was
How does a group massage work? That sounds disgusting.
Well, at first you go to those sex clubs
massage
that the parents are going
circles.
to.
Yeah. So it was in a weird sort of office sort of place that and so the music, I was like, oh, this could be okay, because it was like nature sounds, which I'm like totally down for, instead of like weird like spa massage music. But like the massage table had like, the sheet, but then like a weird quilt on top.
All right.
I was like, okay. And
That
then
looks absorbent.
yeah, and then this fucking massage therapist, quote unquote, is trying to talk to me during my fucking massage.
No. This is not the hair salon.
I know.
Just stay quiet.
He was asking my problem areas. I was like, my shoulders always, and I'm having some tennis elbow pain. And he was like, oh, do you play tennis? No, I don't. And then he was like, I used to play tennis. Maybe I should play tennis. I'm like, can we like not?
Like, this is not about you and your
we
fucking
not?
tennis,
Yeah.
Roger.
So he kept trying to talk, and the room was uncomfortable. And then like he was like a weird dude. He was like wearing jeans. I get it. I'm uncomfortable with someone massaging me wearing jeans and like a random shirt and a latch key over him. I was so uncomfortable by it. I thought for sure at one point semen was going to get dripped on my back, or his penis was gonna. He spent way too long on my feet, and it was like the weirdest foot massage. He never like.
So it was a fucking massage in some ways.
So when a massage therapist massages your foot, they usually bend your leg so that it's in a better advantage. No, my leg was laying down the whole time, as he was kind of like just throwing his hand at my feet. I was like, what? How is this doing anything for my muscles on my foot?
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah, sorry. That was, I had to get that out there. Everyone should know. Be wary of massages on Groupon. And even if they have good reviews, but I mean, it's no offense, New Hampshire, but Y'all gave some reviews on this massage, and y'all have not seen a real massage if you think this guy was good.
Oh boy. So maybe this will be the motivation for some people to go
to
school.
a good massage school.
Yeah, and get your training in, get your license.
Get some peer review work from your friends so they can tell you if you're good or not.
Like bend the fucking knee before you massage them.
Was that a Game of Thrones reference?
You know what? I was thinking that as I was saying that. I'm like, this is so fitting. Game of Thrones, the series finale is next week, at least at the time of the recording. It is next week.
Knee.
Bend the fucking knee when you massage that foot. But other jobs are, cosmetology, dental assistants, electricians, personal trainers, as we were talking about. But again, be careful, especially if that is your passion. As somebody who kind of toes the periphery of the personal training world, it can be a very interesting jungle. All professions can be interesting jungles, but personal training has a very special flavor about it, and that flavor is not cake. And then one I definitely want to point out, and was actually brought up right before recording, was court reporting, which you do not need a degree for. That's the stenographers. Those are the people who are, recording everything that are typing out everything that is being said at the courts. Apparently, that is a dying profession. They're having a really fucking hard time getting people to fill in seats for that. But it's still needed. People are still going to court. They still need stenographers. And apparently some of the stenographers that have been in the job position have maybe not been the best. Some people might have heard of the story about the guy who was not actually taking notes. He was not actually recording what was being said. He was just typing over and over, I hate my job, I hate my job, I hate my job. And nobody fucking noticed this for a goddamn while. That's the real kicker. I forget exactly how long. But it wasn't like at the end of the day, people were like, what? I hate my job. What? Jacob, come over here. Let's talk about your job performance. This went on for a while. But court reporting, you don't need to go to school and get your bachelor's in court reporting.
And there are lots of training programs out there because it is something that people really need. Mm-hmm. And, if that's kind of like a mindless sort of job almost that is a kind of Zen thing. I appreciate jobs like that where it's just, you can get into the zone and just type away, and get paid for it.
That's not a bad gig. I would be personally terrible at it, me and my horrible attention span. It would be like, I'm typing, and I'm going to be thinking about this thing. Shit, what did he say? Fuck, this is bad.
Oh my God, I just wrote an erotic novel.
I just wrote Belinda Blanks.
Drawings happening over here.
Oh, this is some scary drawings.
Right? Y'all gonna have to get onto YouTube to see that one because that was interesting.
Wait, put it up. Real. That'll be a nice little screenshot. Yeah.
There we go.
That's scary. I hope you're not drawing me.
No.
But anyways, so there are a lot of jobs out there that don't require bachelor degrees. And I know we're in this weird world right now where even the most entry level positions are required a bachelor's degree and 10 years of experience. We're in a shitty place in that regard, but there are fields outside of those soul-sucking jobs that require a bachelor's degree to answer the fucking phones. Mm-hmm. That you can look into. And again, I just listed off, maybe 5 or 6. That is not an exhaustive list by any stretch of the imagination. There's plenty of jobs that you can look into that don't require bachelor's degrees, whether you're going to a vocational technical high school, whether it is an apprenticeship, culinary school, the trade schools. There are all these different avenues that you can go down. College is not the only avenue that is available.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what people should keep in mind too is that you can use the internet for more than learning. You can use the internet to put yourself out there. I think Abby's actually a really good example of someone who maybe went to school for. Hold on, it's gonna get bad, but I promise it'll get better.
All right.
Shit.
So you paid for your English degree, but how many world famous writers went to school for English?
This is true. Not many.
So how
Touche.
many, like, the most famous writers, they sat in a room for 20 years and wrote and then put it out and sold it.
Yeah.
Same with actors, I'm guessing. Like, how many actors... I'm sorry, am I boring you?
No. Sorry.
But how many actors went to act... Like, I don't know how many actors go to acting school, but I would think that the majority of, like, really famous actors probably acted more so than went to school.
Or they went to college, but not for acting.
And then
Right.
just didn't fucking use their degree.
Mm-hmm.
But I think people should focus on being able to sell themselves and to not sell themselves. Don't do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do it.
Unless...
Do it.
I mean, hey, no judgment here.
unless
Sex
you're
work
trying
is
to pay your
real
way
work.
through college, which then it's fine. But I think people should just learn about... You can leverage the internet. I mean, there's people who play video games who make $22 million in a year. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Right.
You can literally do anything. I know a guy, I swear to God, I know a guy who used to make fly fishing flies. He, like, put them together. He had a little website.
Like Etsy?
That's what he did. He
Wow.
sold flies.
Rock on.
He wasn't rich, but...
Hey.
You make ends
Yeah,
meet.
if you can pay
$100,000
the
a year.
bills. Yeah.
You know what I mean? How much money do you need? You know?
Right?
And I think that's the other thing, too, is people think, like, they need to make $500,000 a year. Like, you can be pretty well off making $100,000 a year. You can be pretty happy making $100,000
I'd
a
be
year.
pretty happy if I made that much.
Holy
Yeah.
shit, yeah,
You know?
right?
So I think expectations should change, too. I think that people don't realize how much better your life can be if you're in a job that you enjoy, as opposed to trying to force yourself into a position you don't want to be in to make more money that is never going to make you happy anyways.
Exactly.
As long as your bills are paid,
Really,
you know,
that's it.
and
And
you
you got
can
drug money.
drug
I
money.
mean, drug money, that's
I
pretty
mean,
important. Like,
they opened up a new dispensary in Brookline, so
hey,
Yeah.
YOLO.
drug money.
Welcome to Massachusetts, even though technically we're in New Hampshire.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, if you want to go to college, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that as well.
Exactly. This is not a podcast saying college is bad. If you want to go to college, you're bad. Or even if you want to go to college and kind of figure it out as you go along, you're bad. No, we're just saying that this is not the only route. You know, us millennials.
There's no shame in not going.
Exactly. Like,
You might love crippling debt.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, you're the kind of person who just loves debt.
Or maybe you're a trust fund baby, or maybe you won the lottery and you have like $500,000 to burn, like, or really you're just.
Or you have, I mean, I am not in college debt only because, well, I think it would have been, I didn't make a lot of money. I paid for college through financial aid, like $3,500 in student loans, and then my dad passed away my first semester at university, so life insurance money paid for college.
Oh, well.
So bittersweet.
I mean, c'est la vie. If it is anything, the only reason why I don't have student loan debt in the present day is because my grandmother died and my mother was the sole inheritor, and my mom was like, you know what, I'm gonna help you with those that student loan debt because I just came into all this wealth, and here let's spread the wealth to my struggling daughter. So sometimes deaths in the family, as traumatic as they are, can help you in your college journey. This is a really bad fucking moral for this podcast. God,
This is definitely getting edited out.
Don't kill anybody.
please don't. The life insurance policies, the inheritances, it's not worth it. What we're trying to say, though...
We need people to go to school for doctors.
Yes.
And we need people to work on trucks.
Exactly. We need our estheticians, we need our lawyers, we need our HVAC people, we need our automotive people.
We need our plumbers.
We need our plumbers, we need our dentists, we need our dental hygienists.
I need a massage therapist.
Right, we need a good massage therapist who's not going to just like flick his hands at the feet. Like
We need people that are good at doing nails.
Yes.
People to thread my fucking eyebrows.
We need people who are good at doing hair and makeup.
Yes.
We need good personal trainers who know how to do a fucking squat.
We need people who are gonna not throw character arcs out the window on Game of Thrones. All right.
Anyway,
So,
so
go to college, don't go to college.
you
Do
have
whatever the fuck
options.
you want.
Exactly. YOLO, man.
Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
No, I'm really bad at art.
Is there a college class that'll teach me that?
Sure.
Sure.
Or
University of
there
Phoenix,
could be
maybe?
like a free public class through a public library.
Exactly.
Give me $50,000, I'll teach you anything.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Abby, pour some of your drink into my drink.
I will pour some in my. I'll pour a little
While
bit
you
out
do
for
that,
you.
of our
Abby
college.
was just wicked sick. This is a terrible idea.
I'm sure she's not contagious anymore.
I'm no longer contagious. Either that or I'm patient zero. It's one or the other.
It's one or the other. I'll take my chances. So be sure to, if you're just listening, make sure to re-listen/watch on YouTube.
Right. Also, I'm sorry that this is your first experience with our podcast.
I'm not. I want to apologize. I do what I want.
Right. YOLO.
Follow us on Facebook,
Right. Cheers to adulting.
Instagram,
Cheers to adulting podcasts.
Twitter.
Cheers number 2 adulting, but it's never fucking updated.
Eventually, you can email us any questions, comments, concerns, stories, fellow adulting stories, anything adulting. Cheers to adulting at gmail.com. You can also go to our website, cheers to adulting.com. And yeah,
That's it.
that's it. Cheers
Cheers
to adulting.
to adulting.
Good job.
Cheers to adulting.